The honor being done to us today is yet another public acknowledgement of our various roles and contributions towards the national rebirth.
Tasking media on patriotism and politicians on governing well.
It's not a question of the quantum of debt, it's what did you use the debt for? We are borrowing now for infrastructure.
Tapping windows for good money and applying them the right way. And chief case prosecutors get around harnessing policies. Very good evening to you and thanks for joining us on NTA Network News tonight. I am Isaac Nkuma. Nigeria's media practitioners have been challenged on patriotism and seeing themselves as critical partners in the task of addressing Nigeria's fundamental problems of corruption, security and stable economy for sustainable national development. President Muhammadu Buhari, who threw the challenge at the Leadership Award ceremony, promised that the doors of his administration will remain wide open to the media for inquiries in line with its transparency and anti-corruption pursuit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
At the colorful event organized by the leadership newspapers to celebrate democracy, President Muhammadu Buhari, former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan represented, and former INEC Chairman Attahiru Jega jointly bagged the Persons of the Year award for immensely contributing to deepening democracy in Nigeria. According to the newspapers, President Buhari changed presidential politics in Nigeria forever by being the first to unseat a sitting president. His predecessor, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, in the spirit of sportsmanship, conceded defeat in the interest of the nation, while Attahiru Jega courageously made the votes of Nigerians count. There were 15 other award recipients for excelling in leadership, entrepreneurship, and other fields of endeavors.
I want to congratulate all award recipients and to thank them for their services to our country and to humanity.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who responded on their behalf, described the honor as a source of inspiration to redouble their commitment to the progress of democracy and development of the country.
The honor being done to us today is yet another public acknowledgement of our various roles and contributions towards the national rebirth and development of democracy in the country. Those of us who are participating actors in the election were led by the higher ideal of the future of our great country and the well-being of our people, rather than the mere desire of politicians to win elections.
He used the forum to commend the leadership newspapers for being in the forefront of promoting democracy and positive values towards achieving national consensus on the issues that tend to challenge the unity and progress of Nigeria.
We commend the leadership newspapers group and its publisher Sam Inda Asaya for standing firm on the path of patriotism, justice, and fairness. I expect the Nigerian media to join our government in pursuit of these goals, not just to criticize, to prove their independence.
We have put our hands on the plow. Let us not look back or take the gains we have made for granted. Let us please ensure peace reign in our land, because if there is no peace, there will be no country.
Speaking on the theme democracy, political transition, and the challenge of leadership in Africa, Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom State takes pride in the fact that democracy has come to stay in Nigeria, but said efforts should be made by the citizenry to promote unifying tendencies as a people of common destiny and growth.
We are challenged by daunting economic and political problems, which are very surmountable. But we must all collectively resolve to work together. What we have is all we need to get to our desired destination.
He called on Nigerians to collectively give their support and prayers to the nation's leaders as they continue to take critical decisions and make choices on their behalf. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And stopping pipeline vandalism in the Niger Delta region is among the short-term and fastest means of getting Nigeria out of the current economic recession. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said this at the 27th convocation of the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa was there.
By the authority of the Nigerian Defense Academy Council, I confer on all of you.
With this, the 2016 graduating cadets of the 63 regular course and postgraduate students of the Nigerian Defense Academy Kaduna were conferred with different degrees. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, a special guest at the occasion, noted with dismay that the inability of past administrations to effectively manage the economy, tackle corruption and insecurity, gave room for the emergence of insurgency and the current economic recession.
The economy itself is impacted by both corruption and security, and corruption affects both the economy and security. Boko Haram's influence would not have spread if the military response had not been hampered by the failure of the then government and military establishment to provide equipment and supplies and even the basics for troop welfare. Today, we now know that the reason for this was perhaps the largest and most cynical procurement corruption in our history.
Though this is the first time the Academy, established in 1964, is graduating female students among its regular course. The female students, however, emerged as the overall and second best graduating cadets for 2016.
NDA has combined military and academic pursuits in a 5-year intensive training course, producing high-quality officers for the Nigerian Armed Forces.
Professor Grace Alele Williams, the first female professor in mathematics and first female vice chancellor in Nigeria, was among 3 dignitaries conferred with honorary doctorate degree at the occasion. Passing out parade of the graduating cadets is slated for October 7th. From the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun makes a case for international support for Nigeria's efforts at rebuilding infrastructure and repositioning the economy in developing nations at the ongoing IMF World Bank annual meetings in Washington, D.C. Finance and economy correspondent Cliff Ayoze reports.
Cousins described infrastructure as key to the growth and development of nations like Nigeria, with global infrastructure development requiring $1.5 trillion annually, and Nigeria already sourcing for $1 billion through Eurobond for infrastructure development. The minister said this is the time to invest in Nigeria, especially with good governance already being provided by the present administration.
Infrastructure in Africa, in particular, does have returns. It does have attractive long-term returns. Africa can no longer just be seen as this great market that the world wants to come and sell finished goods to. We cannot continue that way. It's not good for you, the rest of the world, and it's not good for us. So that public-private partnership, I think, has to extend across international borders.
Public-private partnership, adapting energy mix, bankable projects, and regulatory framework were other issues raised as necessary to fast-track development.
Get the external finance, how to promote the private investment, and we have several tools, the policy advice and technical assistance.
If we want to have large European pension funds to be able to invest in infrastructure in Africa and Asia, the project has to be very tightly managed.
With huge infrastructure deficit affecting most nations of the world, including Nigeria, and Nigeria getting it right in the area of governance, most nations and development partners are buying into the dream of Nigeria to invest in infrastructure and reposition her economy. From Washington, D.C., Cliff Ayoze, NTA News.
Thank you, Cliff. And still talking finance and economy, in response to the IMF's alarm over rising global debt, Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, reassured the international community that any money borrowed will be used strictly for what it is meant for, that is checking deficit in economic development. Here again is Cliff Ayoze.
Global debt is at record high and rising. A survey of 130 nations, including Nigeria, put global debt of non-financial sector at $152 trillion as at 2015. About 2/3, or 100 trillion naira, is the debt of the private sector, while the public sector increased from 70 to 85% in the last 15 years. The International Monetary Fund warns that high debt levels could lead to financial crisis if borrowed funds are not applied wisely.
One needs to have policies which are appropriate for now and will deliver stability, sustainable and inclusive growth from a long-term perspective.
Nigeria's 2017 budget projection of 6.9 trillion naira in an effort to redirect spending to capital expenditure. Low revenue from oil has made it imperative for Nigeria to borrow. With the International Monetary Fund acknowledging rising debt levels among nations of the world and the need to invest properly when funds are borrowed, what is Nigeria doing in that direction?
It's not a question of the quantum of debt, it's what did you use the debt for? We are borrowing now for infrastructure. If we borrow for a road that you have for 40 years, I don't think it's a problem. If I borrow to go for training, that's a problem.
A comprehensive, consistent and coordinated approach in relation to monetary, fiscal and structural policies, the IMF says, remains the way forward. In Washington, D.C., Cliff Ayoze, NTA News.
And back home in Nigeria, the Senate in a committee of the whole considered and passed 13 concurrent bills on Thursday, the highest number recorded in a single day this session. Waziri Zayanu reports that 5 additional bills were also presented for first reading.
Reports that went through third reading and subsequent passage include that of the Joint Committee on Science, Technology and Defense. Intention of adopting this bill is to confirm Nigeria's superiority in defense capability, regional power and secured national assets with a view to making the country safer and violence-free.
The Joint Committee amended and deleted where necessary those provisions of the bill that are contentious in one way or the other.
Another report considered and passed is that of the bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund. This is meant to strengthen existing legal framework that give banks the incentives to channel more credit to the agri sector.
The purpose of the fund is to provide guarantee in respect of loans granted by any bank for agricultural purposes.
A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Nigerian Independent Warehouse Regulatory Agency and other related matters, presented by Senator Sam Egu, was also passed.
This bill seeks to A. Establish the Nigerian Independent Warehouse Regulatory Agency to regulate the operations of licensed warehouse and to provide a regulatory framework for trading in warehouse receipts.
The Senate also concurs with the House of Representatives' earlier resolution to invite President Muhammadu Buhari to address a joint session of the National Assembly and intimate the lawmakers on plans to get the country out of recession. This is with a view to enabling the Assembly take further legislative action. Outside plenary, the Senate President has assured Market Traders Union of Nigeria on courtesy call that the National Assembly is passing bills that will truly stabilize the economy and help the citizenry. Leader of the union, Remigius Ani, said as sellers and dealers of perishable and non-perishable goods, they came to solicit cooperation in ameliorating incessant increase in prices of commodities with a view to restoring confidence in Nigerians. From the National Assembly, Waziri Zayan, NTA News.
Still on the legislature, the House of Representatives is to investigate alleged unlawful sale of transformers to consumers of electricity by distribution companies, contrary to the provisions of the Electricity Power Sector Reform Act 2005. The legislators also resolved to investigate alleged undue charges on cash transactions by commercial banks. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo reports.
The Electricity Power Sector Reform Act of 2005 mandates distribution companies to provide transformers and ensure efficient power distribution in Nigeria. But allegations of consumers paying for transformers has persisted, as moved by Representative Garba Mohammed from Kano State.
To effect a purposeful representation of the teeming Nigerian electricity consumers whose rights have suffered gross violation by the electricity distribution companies.
The House stressed the need for the federal government to intensify efforts at repatriating Nigeria's $458 million looted money forfeited to the United States, as moved by Johnson Aboniman from Edo State.
People are suffering. Our money is outside there.
Legislatively, we can interface with the AGF. Maybe it can hasten the process of us demonstrating to the U.S. government that these are the areas in which the money will be deployed, and then the money can now be given to Nigeria. But right now it's forfeited by court order to the US government, the entire money.
A motion on the need for a national carrier for Nigeria by Rep. Asabe Velita Bashir from Borno State was adopted.
That some of the foreign airlines have closed operation in the Nigerian route, while others have increased their fares.
Members urged the Inspector General of Police to immediately commence the process of rescuing 2 principals and students of Lagos Model College kidnapped by unknown gunmen on 6th of October. The House has concurred with the Senate, rejecting the proposed sale of national assets, and urged the Executive to present to the National Assembly a blueprint to address the current economic challenges in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Information and Culture's Change Begins With Me campaign train has arrived in Nigeria's corporate sector in Lagos. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the idea is to bring on board sectorally all segments of society to understand the strategic role expected of them for the campaign to succeed. Anthony Forson tells us more.
The private sector, no doubt, has a critical role to play in nation building. And for any nation to get its developmental strides right, it must carry along its private sector. It is in this light that Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says corporate organizations must key into the Change Begins With Me campaign for maximum impact.
Indeed, when the campaign succeeds, it will impact heavily on the private sector.
Lai Mohammed stated that those bent on discrediting the campaign should exercise restraints, as government, he maintained, will not be blackmailed to scale down.
It is important to say here that the use of force is not part of the tools to achieve the goal of Change Begins With Me. Moral suasion rather than force.
Director General National Orientation Agency Malam Garba Abari noted that correcting the moral decay in the society is an enormous task. But government, he said, is on track.
The campaign is expected to herald a new set of acceptable attitudes, values, and behavior. These are all capable of taking Nigeria to greater heights.
For Vincent Anigbogun of the Institute of National Transformation and all those who spoke at the unveiling ceremony, they showered encomium on the minister for the concept, saying Nigeria indeed needs the change campaign. The Change Begins With Me campaign partnership responsibility was equally launched. 200 million naira for platinum partnership. This will earn the sponsors, official partners of the campaign, with unlimited naming and branding rights, as well as a reciprocal airtime in the same amount on NTA and FRCN for 1 year. There is gold, diamond, and channel partnerships. All these categories have their specific rights and reciprocal airtime on NTA and FRCN attached to them. In Lagos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And efforts to draw up a national policy on prosecution have continued, with the Minister of Justice meeting with the State Commissioners of Justice for the second time under the present government. Femi Okeowo was at the meeting and now reports.
In addition to drawing up a proposed national policy on prosecution, the joint meeting of the Attorney General of the Federation and Attorneys General of states in Nigeria also intends to bring up a code of conduct and guidelines for prosecution, which before now is seen as staggered and uncoordinated. Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, says that a streamlined prosecution code in Nigeria will help develop a credible criminal justice system.
The need for the federal, states, and other stakeholders in the justice sector to continuously collaborate to promote the reform of the justice system cannot be overemphasized, as it remains a veritable tool to driving the reform of the justice sector and inspire public confidence in the system.
A few states have expressed fear that a national and uniform prosecution system will infringe on the autonomy of the states. But the meeting has ruled that fear is misplaced. The meeting is expected to come up with a communique which will form the basis of the draft. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Winifred Oyeita, says civil servants are the most effective tools the Nigerian government can harness to achieve its change agenda. She said this on NTA Good Morning Nigeria program, which x-rayed activities including the newly introduced Federal Integrated Staff Housing FISH program. Salihu Abdullahi tells us more.
The program highlighted issues of critical national interest, especially ongoing efforts to improve the welfare of civil servants for effective and quality service delivery. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Winifred Oyeita, said the new civil service under her watch has developed strategies towards promoting efficiency and productivity, fighting corrupt practices, as well as encouraging citizens-centeredness within the civil service.
If you want somebody to perform well, the person has to be well trained. So we are working on structured training, structured mandatory training for civil servants.
Mrs. Oyeita urged relevant development partners, especially the civil servants, to key into the Federal Integrated Staff Housing Program, FISH for short.
So what's going to make the FISH houses on the FISH program attractive is that the land will be obtained with title at a much reduced cost because we are dealing directly with the government.
Other discussants on the program commended the housing initiative.
The earlier program still on course, but slowed down because of funding. We will finance the mortgages. The FISH program, additional money to consider, to continue to produce the houses.
One very, very important aspect is that of collaboration. Under the FISH program, it's been worked out end-to-end where there's going to be active collaboration between the private and the public sector.
In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
A permanent secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Shola Enikolaye, has suggested increased support from the French government on intelligence sharing and information gathering towards degrading the Boko Haram insurgency. It was at a strategic meeting with the French ambassador to Nigeria, Denis Gao. Gabriel Odu reports.
Acknowledging the contributions of the French government to Nigeria in tackling terrorism, having had similar experiences, the permanent secretary said terrorists have now chosen soft targets, hence the need for heightened surveillance.
We want to see increased assistance to the IDPs in terms of rehabilitation, in terms of reconstruction, in terms of reintegration. And we believe France is in a vintage position to play this role.
We had to work together to face this common threat.
On economic front, both agreed that Nigeria is France's first and biggest trading partner in Africa. The meeting also discussed the upcoming Africa-France Summit on security and economic cooperation, with special focus on maritime security in the continent. From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abuja, Gabriel Odu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, troops of Operation Lafayette Dole early this Thursday morning intercepted and shot dead a male suicide bomber on the outskirts of Maiduguri, Borno State. A statement by the Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Sani Usman, says the terrorists, strapped with heavy improvised explosive devices, attempted to infiltrate through the troops' forward defenses coming through Alidawari village. The statement adds that on sighting the bomber, the troops laid in wait, and after his refusal to stop despite several warnings, was shot dead by a masked man. A combined team of army and police explosive ordnance safely detonated the IED vest on the bomber. The federal government has set up a technical committee to tackle pastoralist farmers' conflicts in the country. The committee, headed by the Director General, Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, Professor Oshita, has the mandate to outline a tentative strategy to deal with the conflict using an open stakeholders forum. A statement by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Interior, Alhaji Muhammadu Machido, also mandates the committee to identify the underlying causes of the conflict from regional and national perspective with a view to a lasting solution. The Nigerian Navy ship NNS Unity has arrived Port of Colombo, Sri Lanka. A statement by the Director of Information, Nigerian Navy, Commodore Christian Ezekobe, says NNS Unity, referred to as the Man of War, departed Port of Klang in Malaysia on Saturday, 1st of October, after an impressive diplomatic tour. The ship, which is on her maiden cruise to Nigeria, was received at Colombo's port by a delegation from the Nigerian Navy, led by Rear Admiral Andrew Ode and some Sri Lankan Navy officials. As part of her diplomatic activities in Sri Lanka, the Nigerian Navy delegation paid a visit on the flag officer commanding Western Naval Area of Sri Lankan Navy, Rear Admiral Jayanta De Silva. The ship is expected to depart Port of Colombo on Friday, 7th October, en route Mauritius. You can watch this news live online via the mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. As APC winners get certification documents, PDP warriors begin unity. When we return.
When has it reached this? Much less this. And this. And this. And this. Help reclaim our Commonwealth. Lend your support to the fight against corruption for a better Nigeria.
Once in a generation, a technology emerges that transforms a nation. Close new 4G network is exactly that. It is by far the fastest mobile internet in Nigeria and the first with nationwide coverage. Government institutions and big business will have the tools they need to build the powerhouse of Africa. Small business will be enabled to make the big leap. Medical procedures will be more advanced and your home will become truly smart. With our most extensive national optic fiber network linked seamlessly to Glo One submarine cable, it is data speed and capacity beyond imagination. 4G will accelerate Nigeria's progress into the Super League, and everyone will see their lives change beyond recognition. The wait is over. Welcome to 4G LTE from Glo. Welcome to the new speed of life.
To send and receive money across Africa in a flash, use Rapid Transfer today. To find out more, visit us online at ecobank.com. Move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Whether you love to chit-chat, upload, or catch up on the latest gist, or you love to stream live videos, or you love to download a lot, you can do it all whenever, wherever at the friendliest data rates. Dial *131# to find the internet bundle that's perfect for you and enjoy more data, more friendships, and more fun.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Whenever pain occurs, you want quick relief. Try new Nurofen Express. It goes to the source of pain and gets to work in under 15 minutes. That's why Nurofen Express delivers fast and effective relief. New Nurofen Express works at the source of pain, fast.
Being a mom is great, but when your child has a fever, you don't know what to do. I trust Nurofen for Children to take care of my child's pain and fever.
Effective relief you can trust.
Bayes University Abuja offers world-class education, uninterrupted academic session, and promising degrees for a sustainable job. Bayes University Abuja is affordable and delivers quality with experienced international staff, superb facilities, overseas external examiners, and a serene academic atmosphere. We offer quality and affordable education, and students are within easy reach of their parents here at Bayes University Abuja. So learn to live at Bayes University for a brighter future. For more information, visit our website at www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng or call 081 3376 9657 or 081 3376 9658. Bayes University, Abuja. Learn to live.
Would you like some water? It's cold, especially for you.
Which era are you living in? We have a fridge.
When everything else in your house is from the present, then why are your toilet cleaning methods from the past? Harpic, all-in-one for you. Compared to other toilet cleaners, Harpic removes top stains, kills all germs, and removes bad odors for a shining, clean, and fresh toilet.
Wow.
You should also take the Harpic
all-in-one challenge.
Why don't you people sell imported materials here? As beautiful as the shop is.
Auntie, buying foreign goods does not help our economy. Neither does it boost local production. And the good thing is Nigerian-made products are high quality. Really? And to make Nigeria great again, that is why I only sell made in Nigeria products. Because change begins with me.
I'm convinced. Change begins with me too! Change begins with me.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back. You're still watching NTA Network News. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has presented certificate of return to the Edo State Governor-elect Godwin Obaseki, who won on the platform of the APC. Mohammed Abdulkadri completes the story.
The presentation of certificate of return to the All Progressive Congress Governor-elect Godwin Obaseki in the Edo State governorship election was performed by the National Commissioner, Independent National Electoral Commission, in charge of South-South, Dr. Mustapha Lekki.
It is mandatory for INEC to issue to the successful candidate at an election a sealed certificate of return.
The events leading up to the elections and after have proven that you were as fair, transparent, open as you possibly could be.
With the certificate of return presented to the winner of Edo governorship election, Godwin Obaseki, the state is on the threshold of making history of ushering in the 7th democratically elected governor. In Benin, Edo State, Mohammed Abdulkadri, NTA News.
Many thanks, Mohammed. And on the other side, the National Caucus of the People's Democratic Party has endorsed the reconciliation moves between the party's caretaker committee and other aggrieved groups within the PDP. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garaba Benonkudu reports that this was during its meeting in Abuja.
It was an expanded caucus meeting comprising PDP governors, National Assembly caucus, members of Board of Trustees, and other notable leaders of the party. With only one agenda of review of reconciliation moves, the meeting endorsed the agreement reached between the caretaker committee and Sharif faction to constitute a reconciliation committee.
When we represent you, we don't represent ourselves. It is still necessary that we call you to brief you the exact situation where we are and where we are going, so that we can all be on the same page when we come to constitute the joint committee to find a lasting peace in the PDP.
The moves are fully endorsed and supported by members of the National Caucus, unanimously without any dissenting voice.
Although Senator Sharif was not at the caucus meeting, But at a media briefing, the Sharif faction said they are working with the caretaker committee to bring back peace in the party.
So Sharif had said this time without number that he is not fighting to perpetuate himself in office, and nobody is doing that. And I'm sure Senator McAfee, neither is he trying to perpetuate himself in office. All the gladiators are known, and we are trying to bring all of them together.
The Reconciliation Committee is expected to be inaugurated next week. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Burnokudu, NTA News.
And not done with politics, All Progressives Grand Alliance APGA has appealed to members of the Electoral Reform Committee to discharge the task bestowed on them, devoid of party sentiment. National Chairman of APGA, Chief Victor Oye, disclosed this while interacting with journalists at the end of the party's National Working Committee meeting at its National Secretariat. Salihu Abdullahi has the report.
National Chairman of the party, Victor Onye, said the call for transparency among members of the Electoral Reform Committee was to create the desired platform for conducting credible elections in Nigeria. The party, he said, remained a veritable alternative political party and was working hard to move the party to a higher level through constant engagement among party stalwarts and supporters. While commending government efforts at fighting corruption, he equally wants same efforts extended to other critical sectors.
APGA as a political party is focused. What is happening in Anambra State, the only state in Nigeria that has continually paid workers' salaries every 24th of the month. That is the vision of APGA, to transform this nation into a high flyer in national development.
In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And towards meeting its objectives in line with present realities, the Secretariat of the Nigeria Governors Forum says it is transforming its operations as policy hub for good governance. To this end, the forum held a retreat for secretarial staff. Abdullahi Garba Benunkudu reports.
The Nigeria's Governors Forum, established more than 10 years ago, is the umbrella body of Nigeria's governors, irrespective of party affiliation, to exchange ideas and create peer review mechanisms in assessing developmental strides in states. The retreat is to introduce to the staff new strategies to reposition the Secretariat to function as a policy hub and resource center.
We have to keep looking for ways to reach a common consensus that is acceptable across party lines. We have to be able to define clear priorities. We have to be able to communicate all that to all the governors.
An agricultural consultant, Professor Abba Gambo, and a consultant with the United Nations, Professor Afiki Najereme, called for financial independence for the Forum Secretariat to function effectively.
The NGF must, as a matter of urgency, bridge the gap between the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and the state.
The retreat was an avenue to deliberate on the yearly plans of the Governors Forum. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Burnokudu, NTA News.
And Nigerian women have been urged to pray fervently for the nation and its leaders so that the economy can improve. This was in a message by the prelate of Methodist Church, Nigeria, His Eminence Samuel Kanu Uche, during a courtesy visit to the National President, National Council for Women Societies, NCWS, Nigeria. Lydia Basi was there.
The prelate advised Nigerians not to cast aspersions and insults on the nation's leaders, but pray for salvation and economic recovery of the country. He urged the National President, National Council for Women Societies, Gloria Laraba Shoda, to organize prayers for women nationwide.
Prayer of women can save Nigeria. We'll bounce back, and we're going to become the real giant of Africa.
The national president encouraged mothers to be agents of change in tune with President Buhari's Change Begins With Me initiative.
We mothers are the real agent of change. Mothers should now start checking their children. Don't allow your husband to begin to do fraud just because he wants to please you.
Every woman come to wherever we are going to appoint to pray.
because that is the only thing that can change our situation.
The prelate encouraged both presidents of NCWS and National Women's Fellowship to work together in organizing the prayers for women.
Let your light shine, shine, let it shine.
Lydia Bassi, NTA News.
The media in focus again, this time on skills. Let's join Abdullahi in Lagos, the Center of Excellence, for details.
Thanks for joining us in Lagos, Isaac. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has urged media practitioners to rise to the challenge of ensuring objectivity, fairness and professionalism in the industry. He made this remark in a message to the official commissioning of the Editors' House in Ikeja, Lagos. Amech Pius has details.
The Information and Culture Minister was represented at the occasion by the Managing Director of the News Agency of Nigeria, Bayo Onanuga. He said his advice was informed by the uncoordinated and unprofessional practice in the social media where virtually everyone disseminates stories without recourse to ethics of the profession.
They are their own editors, they are their own publishers, and they are doing our job. I should implore us to find a way of bringing these people to embrace our rules.
Former Governor of Delta State, Dr. Emmanuel Uduaha, described the media as an integral part of society, contributing immensely to the development of the economy. While commissioning the twin duplex Editors' House, Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Idiat Adebule, pledged the state government support to the guild. There were goodwill messages from other dignitaries at the event.
It's the Editor's House. It's a house that is going to be not just a newsroom, but somewhere you can do your research, whether you are in the print media or in the electronic.
It took a record of 55 years. This goes to tell you the integrity of the Nigerian Guild of Editors.
We have a place we can retreat to. We have a place we can reflect. We have a place we can commune.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority in the NTA was represented at the event by Executive Director News, Shola Tere. Nigerian Guild of Editors was founded in 1961. In Lagos, Amechi Pius, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Isaac will continue network news after these short messages. Stay with us.
10 years ago, Globe predicted that the future lay in data. They laid a dedicated fiber optic ring around the country, seamlessly connecting to cities, suburbs, and towns. They created innovative, flexible, and highly affordable data plans. Then, Glo launched 4G LTE, data so clear and so fast that it will transform the way Nigerians communicate, work, learn, and play. They can listen to millions of music tracks, enjoy thousands of movies, play online video games, and even watch live TV. Their homes have become smart homes. This is the new speed of life. Enjoy the fastest data speed plus free world-class content at 10 gigabytes for 2,500 Naira and 24 gigabytes for 5,000 Naira. Available in all Glo World outlets and Glo dealers. Welcome to the new speed of life.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Hey, I just had a shower, but why do I still feel so hot and sweaty?
Let me finish this and I will show you something surprising. Let's take a look. See, heat means sweat. Sweat brings germs. Dettol 100 times cool. It removes germs to leave you feeling clean, fresh, and 100 times cool. Beat the heat and germs with Dettol 100 times cool.
Dettol, endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
5, 2, 1. Should I get yours?
Don't worry, I'll call you.
La pendule fait tic-tac, tic-tic. Les oiseaux du lac pic-pac, pic-pic. Glou, glou, glou font tous les dindons. Et la jolie cloche ding-ding-dong. Mais boum, quand on...
Hello?
Hi. Yeah, it's me. How's it going? Boom.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thanks for staying with us. Nigeria's currency, the naira, firms against the dollar as steady sale to bureaus de change is this liquidity challenge at the market. Details with Vivian Idekpefo on Business News.
A very warm welcome to the Business News segment. The British pound fell to a 31-year low Thursday amidst fears of a hard exit by Britain from the European Union. The pound fell by 0.9% to the dollar, the lowest since 1985. The currency sank 0.5% to 88.32 pence to the euro after reaching a 5-year low. The slide has fueled bets on faster inflation. And back home, the naira firmed against the dollar at the interbank market Wednesday, closing at 310 naira to the dollar against 320 naira to the dollar recorded in previous session. Similarly, at the parallel market, the local currency exchanged at 475 naira to the dollar on a 1-point gain against the 476 naira to the dollar traded at previous session. Industry watchers believe that the continued sale of currencies to the BDCs will stabilize liquidity in the market, thus regaining the currency's lost glory. And still on the financial sector, Nigeria's equities market closed on a positive note Thursday, halting a 2-day losing trend. The all-share index gained 0.08% to close at 28,031.40 basis points. And that's business news at this hour. The bulletin continues.
Thank you, Vivian. The Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, says it is collaborating with the National Universities Commission to get higher institutions give requisite empowerment to undergraduates on safety of deposits in financial institutions. Managing Director of the corporation, Alhaji Umaru Ibrahim, said this at the NDIC Special Day at the ongoing Abuja International Trade Fair to showcase its products and services. Details with Leah Katumba Bachinde.
The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, began participating in the Abuja Trade Fair in 2015. It serves as an avenue to enlighten the public and showcase its landmark achievements on its mandate and operational activities. The corporation reiterated its mandate of protecting depositors by providing a mechanism for reimbursement in the unlikely event of bank failure and to contribute to financial stability. To this end, the NDIC has collaborated with the Nigerian Universities Commission to enlighten the public.
We have started a curriculum in the university on deposit insurance scheme.
It also cautioned members of the public on patronage of illegal fund managers.
Public should be aware of all these wonder banks, and they can always call in through our call number to ask questions.
This is a very important dimension, because if you look at what is happening now, there are 419ers who will come to say your ATM has a problem and you need to call certain numbers, and once that is done, they siphon your money.
Stakeholders say it is imperative for Nigeria to narrow down perspectives for safeguarding funds and improving revenue. The NDIC says it is collaborating with the Central Bank of Nigeria to propagate the objectives of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy to reduce the percentage of adult Nigerians that do not have access to financial services from 46.3% in 2010 to 20% by 2020. In Abuja, Lekatung Babatunde, NTA News.
The nation's quest for overall growth and development are achievable, particularly through the entrenchment of value orientation and sound spiritual morals. This is the standpoint of religious leaders on NTA Current Affairs program, Moment for Thought.
Look, consider morality and God consciousness and consciousness of accountability before God. Seriously.
Right now, we have not just an economic emergency before us, we have a moral emergency before us in the country.
The program, Moment for Thought, comes up tonight at 10:30 on the network service of the NTA. We'll now take another break for more reports.
If we have lost the opportunity of 15 years, let us no longer lose any opportunity for the future. Our alternative is agriculture immediately and solid minerals.
We should be appreciative of the president who has again diverted attention to this issue of agriculture.
The present administration is determined to go back to planning, identify priorities beforehand. When money comes, it is applied to that purpose. You can see the results.
We are determined to rehabilitate our country, especially for our children and our grandchildren.
Whenever pain occurs, you want quick relief. Try new Nurofen Express. It goes to the source of pain and gets to work in under 15 minutes. That's why Nurofen Express delivers fast and effective relief. New Nurofen Express works at the source of pain, fast.
Being a mom is great, but when your child has a fever, you don't know what to do. I trust Nurofen for Children to take care of my child's pain and fever.
Effective relief you can trust.
Would you like some water? It's cold, especially for you.
Which era are you living in? We have a fridge.
When everything else in your house is from the present, then why are your toilet cleaning methods from the past? Harpic, all-in-one for you. Compared to other toilet cleaners, Harpic removes top stains, kills all germs, and removes bad odors for a shining clean and fresh toilet.
Wow.
You should also take the Harpic
all-in-one challenge.
The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Glad to know you stayed. Namibia's political giant Hidipo Hamuteyan dies at 77. He was at the forefront of negotiating Namibia's independence in 1990 through Southwest Africa People's Organization, SWAPO. A United Nations raises alarm that the rebel-held eastern parts of Syrian city of Aleppo may be totally destroyed in 2 months if shelling continues. For more, let's join Talatu Ezirike on Global Tidbits.
Celebrations as Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe attended the official opening of 4th session of the 8th Parliament in the country's capital Harare. There was no incident of disruption